Can you please lead us? I'm sorry, you're taking a drink. Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Angel. I'd like to see if someone can please move to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, the agenda's been adopted. The staff presentation for the measures Y and Z, second quarterly construction update.
Thank you, President Deutsch. Happy holidays to everybody. I see we've played musical chairs since last time we met.
Just a little.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Those are in order. Welcome to District Cabinet and the thousands of Torrance taxpayers. As always, it's a pleasure and honor to lead the construction and design team behind me and bringing you up to speed on what's happening with the taxpayer dollars for measures Y, Z, T, and U. First up is Angel Husband representing HMC.
Good evening, board members. How are you guys doing on this cold, windy night?
Trying to stay warm.
Yep. First up is Jefferson Middle School. This is under construction. The first phase has actually been completed. We are moving on to the second phase. So they're moving on to building C and starting the demo work. Everything is on schedule. Are there any other questions? West High School and Richardson Middle School. Both of these projects, actually West High School, we're going to be submitting those plans to DSA on December 21st. And Richardson Middle School, that was actually submitted to DSA November 19th. And it has been, it went through the intake process, and now they're going to assign reviewers. Must be white.
Good evening, board members. Torrance High School, we have completed the first, second, and third phases currently. The main gym is still under construction. Phase 4, we're under construction right now. That's the annex building, and also building J. The annex building is building R, and we will be starting phase 5 come next year in February. Any questions?
John, when,
Yes.
John or John, Rhonda, what's the estimated time for the gym to open for? I know the answer, but.
The gym will be opening up on the 4th of January, and we're actually turning over Building R about a month early. That's being turned over at the end of Christmas break.
What's building R?
I'm sorry, the annex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Lee, any question? Mr. Stefan?
Well, I haven't heard any recently. I mean, this is a problematic school because of its age and so on and so forth. But
It's had its challenges, but we're
we
overcoming
haven't
them.
run into anything. It sounds like we haven't run into any major issues that have caused overruns and things like that. I mean, I know there have been a few things early on, but everything seems to be quiet.
Well, I think our biggest was the one we talked about, which is when they were power washing the annex, we had mortar
Right.
coming off the building. So that was an increase, considerable increase that, we've had to deal with. If you recall, and they're doing it the right way, part of the problem was that the paint on that building, we're talking exterior, would simply just peel right off because it wasn't done correctly the first time around. So needed to be power washed, needed to be sealed. That's in the process what they were doing. And at that time, the mortar started coming off. So it had to be patched and then sealed and painted, and you can, actually from my office, you can look out and see now how it's bright white, where they've done the paint job on it, and the patches went very well on it, on that building. So that's the major challenge right now. There's smaller stuff that's over there. Remember on the main building, and I don't believe, unless it just has happened lately, the old light fixtures on the exterior, which didn't work, we have to make work because it's a historical building. So those all had to be sent back to a particular vendor, so that we kept the light fixture, but the interior of it was gutted. So, and then it'll be put back, and then they will work. But that's, again, added expense because there are very few companies that can do that work because it's historical work.
When we get into that gym, you know, the showers and all that kind of stuff, have we done that yet? Have we looked at?
Oh, yes.
In the main gym?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all that work's done.
It's all done.
Okay, so I was expecting all sorts of disasters when you started redoing the plumbing.
It had its challenges, but, you know, we anticipated most of it, and it's all taken care of.
Mr. Lee?
What about the air conditioning in the auditorium? I know we have talked about it. I don't know what the rest.
We've included in the budget that we brought for you for approval. Those plans aren't done yet. There still remains their small gym and their auditorium, but we included the cost of the air conditioning in the auditorium cost that we brought forward for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Reagans?
So we'll be turning over the annex early?
Yes.
Isn't the annex where we were doing the debirding?
Yes.
And that will be completed by then?
That will be.
And everything
completed.
will be taken care of in that respect?
Yes, it will.
Okay, and actually, since Dr. Mannon mentioned lights, the lights on the poles down the walkway, do we have to fix those too?
We are fixing those.
Down, you mean on the canopies?
Yeah,
Yes.
They've already been replaced.
so we just replaced them, we didn't have to do them historically because it wasn't historical
Correct.
structures?
You are correct.
Okay, but they will work now?
Oh, they do work now.
That's
They're
very
LED
refreshing.
Lights, they're very bright, and
It's the same lighting package that we give all the schools. If you remember, they all.
But within that the structure of the light fixtures that are
Yeah.
there?
well, it's a surface mount on the side of the canopies in the same location as the old one.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Another bit of good news. When we had to do the historic restoration of the senior patio, we had hoped to apply for state hardship funds. Thanks to Brent and the staff over at Balfour Beatty and our consultants in Sacramento, we were on the agenda for the SAB this last Tuesday. They agreed to $900,000 in costs, which means our portion of that, 60%, is $560,000. We have to pass a bond to get it. The state has to pass a bond issue to get, but we are on the unfunded list, and actually, because we got on the 9th, when they issue the criteria list next January, we will be, if there's a bond issue, we will be getting $560,000.
Of course. So we should be
Yeah,
supporting.
we're not going to pass it.
We absolutely need to go out and support a state bond.
Okay.
Mr. Wormers?
A few months ago, when I walked it with Mr. Gerges, he was a little cranky. The drains from the, I don't even know what to call them, the umbrella-like concrete structures obviously were never cleaned out. Are we doing something different, or are we going to do the same design?
We are doing something different. Those were hopelessly clogged, and we did try and get them to work, but long story short, we couldn't. So we are coring new holes through the bottom of the umbrella and putting a downspout down the side of the column.
Cool. Thanks. I was curious how you were going to go about it.
But that's not going to be done until next summer.
That's fine. I was just curious. That was one of the things that I wondered how you were going to actually resolve that problem. So,
And that won't look like just some funky cast iron pipe falling out of that thing?
It will be a steel pipe because it needs to be durable, but we'll make it look like it's done on purpose.
Okay, good.
because it will be done on purpose.
It'll be done on purpose so it doesn't clog, too.
Let's hope not. Okay. Thank you.
Carr Elementary School, six-phase project. We just finished the first phase, which was Building E up along the playground area, and Building F is now in starting construction. Casimir is a seven-phase project, and the first phase, which is Building H, that was finished construction last month, and Building G is currently under construction now. As far as future goes, we look at plan of doing the Phase 2 through next year, and then fall as well as Carr and Casimir next year as well.
And that,
Angel, you have anything on that?
Mr. Steffen, I believe had a question.
Well, in that picture at the bottom with the steel framing, what is that, what are you putting there with very large windows and things? I assume that's what the...
There's window infill being done there, some wall infill at the bottom. The large expanses of glass that used to be there for the older windows, the bottom two rows were painted over windows, and so the option was to infill the bottom portion with extra wall, so you don't have to paint the new windows, obviously, because the students look through those windows as they walk by. That's why they were covered up. And so just the head height of the window is going to remain, it's just the sill's going to be brought up a little higher.
That's at the request of the school.
Exactly.
So we're on to Measure T and U projects. The middle school gyms, we're talking about the Jefferson Middle School, Casimir Middle School. Both of those projects were submitted to DSA on November 5th. The Richardson Middle School gymnasium has a slight delay due to the relocation, but they'll be submitted to DSA soon. The West High School auditorium, that will be submitted on December 21st along with the modernization.
Excuse me, I have a question, Angel.
Okay.
Regarding the Richardson Middle School relocation, how significant was that increase?
We're still reviewing the cost estimate for that because of the added fire hydrant, and then we had to relocate the gymnasium 15 feet away from the property line now because of the slope, and our structural engineer had to make sure that the footings for the gym had to be so far away from that slope. So we're still reviewing that, but we did meet with the principal and Dr. Mannon, and they've all approved the location of it now.
And will you let us know when you
I think we approve
find
that.
out?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Bottom up team, yeah.
The Aquatic Center was submitted at the end of November, and we are currently waiting for DSA's letter of acceptance for that, which should take about 2 weeks, so I should be seeing that by the end of this week, hopefully.
That fast?
Excuse me?
That fast?
Well, when you submit the project, there's 2 weeks where they kind of do a quick review to make sure that everything is.
Oh, it's not their approval, it's just their...
Just a letter of acceptance, yes.
No, it's not approved.
It's like, wow!
We're about 4 to 6 months out.
That's what we've been saying all along,
Yeah.
so I was like, wow, who did we bribe?
Hey,
Good evening.
Going on to talk about the fencing project, Phase 1. We've completed Kelly Mayor and Madrona, and we're finishing Lynn today. So we've got 3 middle schools completed, and we've got 2 to go. And then we've finished South High School, and probably about a week to go on North. They finished all the chain link fencing. We went ahead and did that big tall fence between North and Edison, where the kids were climbing over and going into the playgrounds at Edison. So that was a big accomplishment. That was going to originally be part of the Edison project. We moved that into the North project to get that done. So that looks really good. And they're doing the tube steel work along Yukon Street right now. So it's going well. So we've also had a couple of special projects that have slowed us down a little bit. We did a motorized gate over at West. They had a gate that was falling apart, and kids were getting out, and people were coming in, so we put a motorized gate and a little fobs, 25 fobs, so people can make deliveries and get in and out of there. And then we're going to do a little bit of work at Jefferson, and then the remaining elementary schools. We're going to start at Arnold this week, and then our next elementary school will be Walteria. So we're starting into the elementary schools now.
Okay.
So the phase one is supposed to be completed at the end of March, early April. So in the spring, we're going to bid out phase two for the other 14 sites and get those going immediately afterwards and just roll right into that.
Okay, thank you for the photos. I've been enjoying the photos.
Yeah, Ben's.
Yeah, Ben.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ben's been doing that, thank you. Any questions from our board members? No? Okay, thank
All
you.
right, and then the security camera project, we started installing cable at Yukon on Thursday. So that project is officially underway with NIC partners. And we should get Yukon up and operational hopefully within a week or two, probably during Christmas break. And then we've got a meeting with the police department on Wednesday to talk to them about a memorandum of understanding and also how to load the software onto their system. So then they'll have linkage between our system and their system.
Mr. Wormers?
Can we see one of the cameras once it's up and working at UConn? After you're to some point of completion, can we actually either see it either here or tour it or see it on the web or?
Certainly. What they're going to do is the cameras go in the very last. So they want to get everything connected, the recorder in, because if they put up a camera and it's not hooked up, it'll get stolen overnight, supposedly. So they want to wait till everything's ready to go, hook up the cameras, and then they're operational before that night.
When that happens, I'd love to see them. I know we saw them here in the parking lot, and they're very impressive, but I'd love to see them actually installed at one of our school sites.
Okay, great. I'm sure we can arrange.
Mr. Wormers wants the code so he can sit at home and watch all the schools.
No, I don't.
I would like to see the
do.
cameras too.
Great.
Thank you.
Sounds like we're going to have a field trip set up.
Yes, that would be nice.
And then the access control point of entry security system, that design is almost complete. So we're working on that and trying to link that in with the fencing project too, because that's going to affect some of the fencing installation at the gates for the latches and the releases. But that's going well too.
Okay, great.
Any questions?
What is 1, 2, 3 lockdown? Oh, the little thing on the door? Never mind.
Yes, those are the devices on every single door that they can put them in place, and there can be ingress and egress and ingress, and then if there is a lockdown, they just flip it over and the door is locked. And they're already all installed in every single school.
And they
I see
work,
them.
even on the ones with air conditioning and things like that.
Yes, that we went back, and those that we knew about that had the air conditioning issues, they just moved the air conditioning sensor down so that it was not impacted when the door was slightly ajar.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Between Dr. Stowe and Gil, last two pieces.
Technology?
Well, Eduling's been approved and it's up and running. You know about that system, so you can just move the technology.
Okay, so as of last Friday, all 4,000 Chromebooks were delivered. That's 112 carts worth to all of the schools. So they've received them all, and I hear that they've already been put into use, so that's a good thing.
My children love them, quote unquote. Did you get the new Chromebook, or do you have the crappy old Chromebook today? That's the discussion at dinner.
I always take the old stuff so the kids get the new stuff, so.
Yeah, that's just so you know, they like the color. They also, there was a lengthy discussion involving the splash screen with the lizard. Was that your choice?
No.
Okay. I wanted to be able to report back that I did ask about the lizard. There's
The
apparently,
flash screen, what?
there's a screen.
It may depend school to school how
That's what I was
the
wondering.
launching screen that
Okay.
they
So what's
they
on it?
decide.
Well, apparently for my kids using Chromebooks today, had a lizard, a very cute lizard.
Yeah.
So I got kids in school, so we have these kind of discussions at dinner. In fact, you open them all the way up, they're playing practical jokes on people who haven't seen them. Watch, I'll break it. And they open it all the way up, and
Right, so the good thing is they can't.
Right.
Because the screen folds down 180 degrees, so it's nice and flat. And it's got the nice, I don't know if you saw, the Torrance logo is etched into it. It's got the nice blue rim. And it's a lot more rugged than the previous model that we leased about a year and a half ago. So those are the Chromebooks. And the desktops, and as you know, the laptops have been, were deployed when the teachers came back September 8th. And over the last 2 to 3 weeks, really the last 3 weeks, our departments deployed the 200 desktops. So all of the office secretaries, all of the staff, all the classified staff, everyone in this building and across the street have their nice new 23-inch monitors and are really enjoying the new equipment. We need to finish adult ed. There's 40 more machines we need to do, but we're going to finish that off probably by the end of the winter break. And then some cleanup. There are a couple dozen folks that were left off of a list for some reason or another, or some just decided to wait. They wanted to hold on. They weren't ready yet to move into the new machine yet because they wanted to, I don't know, hug their old one for a while. You know, they had old files that they thought were in there, but it really wasn't there, so we had to explain where their stuff was. Other than that, it's gone pretty smoothly. Everyone's received their equipment, and we're moving right along. So.
Mrs. Reagans?
Yeah, so now we have a bunch of bucks worth of equipment out there, and I wonder what we've done to bump up security and keep them safe.
Yeah, as you know, and that's been a discussion, well, a question that principals have asked me. Great,
Yeah.
I've received 5 new carts, 4 new carts.
Now what do I do?
Now what do I do? Not every classroom is alarmed, as we know. I believe it's usually just a computer lab, a library. So it's best if they could put it in an alarmed room and keep them locked. Otherwise, we're pretty dependent on our physical security and then our...
Well, there's one other piece, though. You approved at the last board meeting a change order on the video surveillance, said analytics. What that really is programming, which will allow, all of those cameras can be security cameras. And you approved the cost now to go back and do programming on those cameras so that, you know, remember there's 1,000 cameras that are going to be deployed. So those cameras can now opt in using programming to actually be security systems rather than having alarm systems.
Well, I do think that will make me feel more secure about it, actually. But in the meantime, we've got a fair bit of lag period here when they're out there, and I bet there's folks in the community that know that they're out there, so we need to protect them and make sure that they aren't available. I just have been aware of several break-ins where all they were going after was the technology.
Yeah, and again, like you're right, there probably is a bit of a lag between, you know, our physical security that we're putting up, like the new fencing, the new alarm systems, and the surveillance. So I believe the best we can do now is to secure it in an area that is alarmed.
A lot of AK-47
The,
last couple of weeks.
you know,
Some of those people just
the schools are having to balance between convenience and the security because, well, you know, and I've heard this, especially on a large campus like a high school. I need this cart all the way across campus.
yes.
I've got to push this thing all the way to the other side of campus at the end of the day, and it's just inconvenient versus what if I just lock my room? Really, what I lock. There's a physical lock on the carts. I can lock those. I lock my room. Hope the fences are keeping the bad folks out. And then again, even with an alarmed room, there's no guarantee that they're not in and out within 5 minutes. You can trip an alarm, no one's showing up within the next 5 minutes. I'll do my part. If I see someone rolling it down Yukon Avenue, I'll stop them because I know it's coming from north, like,
Looks
hey,
familiar.
that's mine. I'm part of Neighborhood Watch, I'll do my piece, but
Thank you.
that's about all I can do.
Okay, any other questions? No? All right, so I think we're done. need to get a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Okay, thank you very much, and everyone, happy holidays. Okay, thank you. Happy holidays. Yes.
Not likely.